Feeding and withdrawing the eyes. Mr. Stevenson identified 4 spots on the back of the head that relate to the eyes. They are split into 2 sets, one set just above the other. To find the top set, draw a line from the corner of the eye to the back of the head. Here you will find a depression on the left and right sides of the head that are situated directly behind the eyes. These 2 spots are the feeding spots for the eyes. The remaining set are called the withdrawing spots. They are located about a thumb's width below the feeding spots, but you can also find them by following a line running from the center of the ear canal to the back of the head. While these directions will get you in the general area of the spots, it's important that you allow your own sense of touch to pinpoint the exact locations. I personally find the withdrawing spots are located slightly more medial to the feeding spot. When treating these spots, you can be positioned to the left or right side of the seated client. One hand will give support to the forehead while the other hand performs the treatment. When treating either the feeding or withdrawing spots, the working hand will have the thumb on one spot and preferably the mid finger on the other spot. With the hand in this position, it will be used as one unit to treat both the eyes at the same time. The difference between the two treatments will come not just in the location of the spots we're treating, but also our intent and the direction of movement of our working hand. Another distinction to remember is that when doing the feeding treatment, the spots being treated will affect the eye on the opposite half of the body, while in doing a withdrawing treatment, each spot is affecting the eye on the same half of the body. In feeding, our intent is to direct nourishment to the eyes, so our hand movements will be done in a forward and then upward movement before releasing the pressure as our fingers return to repeat the movement. We also want to consider that above the ear, this portion of the head right here leading to the eyes, that's where we're feeding, that can be congested too. So, a lot of times for vision, what we're doing is we're feeding here, but we can go deeper and then explore just one side and just make sure that is cleaned out. So for this side, again, I'm using my mid finger, just feeding through here. But for the other side, I'm going to use my thumb in the same manner and just feed through there. So it's kind of a quick little spurts that I'm giving it just to sweep through there. Make sure that is getting to the eyes. And then I'll come back and feed more. In withdrawing, our intent is to create a vacuum within the head that draws away excess pressure and congestion away from the eyes. For this, our hand movements are now directed down and then backwards before releasing our pressure and returning to repeat the movement. In both the feeding and withdrawing treatments, it will appear that we are just making small circles when we do the movements at normal pace. Yet, when we are focused on carrying out our intent, the pressure applied from our fingers will only be forward and up for the feeding and down and back for the withdrawing. For feeding, we'd never want to do more than 15 minutes in 1 week. But with withdrawing, we can do up to 15 minutes in one session. As far as the amount of times between, usually once a week, but let it be guided by your own sense of what's going on. In either case of the feeding or withdrawing, we always want to make sure that we started out at least 3 to 5 minutes of the general treatment. Then we'll do this. Now, again, remember that the feeding spots, the nerves cross. So one spot activates the eye on the opposite side. For withdrawing, it's actually going to be drawing from the eye in front of it. Okay, so this spot is withdrawing from the right eye, the spot withdraws from the left eye, and that's because the pressure is built up behind the eyes. So we're just taking that away. In the feeding, we're actually stimulating the nerve life going to the eyes, and since the nerves are crossed, this one is going to the opposite eye. Okay? If you are not sure which one to be doing, you can look at the client's eyes. If they look bloodshot, if they look strained or tired, start with the withdrawing treatment. Okay? That will help relieve the pressure. Then at a later time, different session, if need be, you can do the feeding. We never want to do both the withdrawing and feeding in the same session unless it happens that we have fed too much. If you fed too much to the eyes and they start to appear bloodshot or sore, then you would quickly go to the withdrawing and withdraw that.